Okay, so I am going to throw a quick video together here from some of the redos that were on the recipe changes from the original recipe to the new recipe that serves 40. A couple of you had some questions, so I'm just going to walk through a couple of these ones together. You can watch this, you can go back and look at your work again, but hopefully seeing me do it might help you in getting it figured out. So first one, here's the pizza dough one. So a couple people had questions on this. If it originally serves 5, we have to serve 40. So what times 5 makes 40? Well, we know we have to take each of our ingredients times 8. So I'm multiplying the original recipe times 8. So when I look at my first ingredient, which is 1 1/2, so if I'm going to take 1 1/2, I cannot keep 1 1/2 and multiply that by 8. As a mixed number, I've got to change it to an improper fraction. So an improper fraction, I take the denominator 2 times the whole number. 2 times 1 is 2, then add the numerator. So that becomes 3/2. Remember, the denominator stays the same, so 3/2. So I need to change mixed numbers to improper fractions. So now I've got 3/2. I'm multiplying by 8. So 3/2 times 8. Remember, well, this is what we've been doing the whole last 2 weeks. 8 times 3, I multiply the whole number times the numerator is 24/2. How many 2's go into 24? Well, it's like 24 divided by 2 or 24 split in half. The answer is going to be 12. So for a recipe that serves 40, I need 12 cups of flour. Okay. All right. Second ingredient, sugar. It's 2/3 of a teaspoon for 5 people. So now I need to take that 2/3 and I need to make it times 8 people, or 8 times to make it for 40 people. So 2/3, I take the numerator times the whole number. 8 times 2 is 16. The denominator comes in for 16/3. How many 3's go into 16? Well, 3 times 5 is 15. There's 1/3 left over. So my answer for my sugar is 5 1/3. Okay. Yeast, 1/3 of a teaspoon. I'm happy because I don't need to change it in a mixed number. So 1/3 is the original. I'm multiplying it times 8. 8 times 1 is 8. The 3 comes back as my denominator. That's an improper fraction. I need to change as a mixed number. So how many 3's go into 8? 3 times 2 is 6. So 2, 6 to 8, there's 2 left over. 2 2/3 is the amount of yeast. Okay. Water, 2/3 of a cup. So 2/3 times 8. 8 times 2 is 16/3. Hey, look, we already did that one up here. So if you were kind of paying attention, you would see that the cups of water is exactly the same as the teaspoons of white sugar. Okay. All right, this one's easy. A whole number, if I'm just multiplying something in the original recipe times 8, 3 times 8 is what? 3 times 8 is 24. So 24 is going to be my answer for the amount of olive oil. All right, 1/2 is my last fraction in the original problem. So I got 1/2. I'm multiplying that by 8. 8 times 1 is 8/2. How many 2's go into 8? 2, 4, 6, 8. That's 4. So 8 divided by 2 is 4. So that means there's 4 teaspoons of salt in the original recipe. Okay? All right, that's the pizza dough one. Now, let's look at the carrot cake. And I'm not going to go through and do all of these on carrot cake, so I'll just kind of model a couple of them. So this one, the original recipe served 20. I need to get it to serve 40. So what times 20 makes 40? You all had this, right? I know I'm going to multiply by 2. So, like flour, easy, whole number, 2 times 2. That means there's going to be 4 cups of flour that are going to be in my new recipe. Okay. White sugar, I have 2/3 of a cup. So 2/3 times 2 equals what? Well, again, I take my whole number times my numerator. That's 4/3. I need to change that improper fraction to a mixed number. So how many 3's go into 4? Well, that goes in there once. There's 1/3 left over. So the amount of white sugar that I need is 1 1/3 cups of white sugar. Okay. Let's do one more. Brown sugar, 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar. So 3/4 times, I'm multiplying everything by 2. So 3 times 2 is 6. 4 is my denominator. 4 goes into 6 once. There's 2 left over. So 1 2/4. So you can kind of see how this one goes on. Now, just a real quick reminder, like if I'm looking up here at baking soda, 2 1/2 is a mixed number. I need to change that to an improper fraction. So 2 1/2, I take my denominator times my numerator. So 2 times 2, which is 4. Add your numerator plus 1. So 2 1/2 becomes 5 halves. 1 1/2, 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. 3 halves becomes my improper fraction for 1 1/2, okay? So just a quick reminder on that one, all right? One other one I want to get to really quickly, because I don't want to make the video too long, is the gingerbread one, because some people got kind of stuck on the gingerbread problem. So I'm going to kind of go over this one and get my answers here next to me. Okay, so the original recipe serves 8. 8 times what gets me to 40? Well, 8 times 5. So I'm going to multiply all my numbers here times 5. Okay, woohoo, happy dance. 2 cups, 2 times 5, 10. Easy for my translated recipe over. Okay, I like when I have whole numbers. Now, fraction-wise, white sugar, I have 3/4 of a cup. So I'm going to come over here, 3/4. I'm multiplying everybody times 5 this time. So whole number times numerator, 15/4 is going to be my improper fraction. Now, how many 4 is going to 15? 4, 8, 12. 4 would be 16, so that's too much. So 3 times 4 is 12. 12 to 15, there's 3 left over. So my answer for my sugar of white sugar is 3 3/4 cups. Okay. All right, brown sugar, 2/3 of a cup. So come to my work, 2/3, I'm multiplying everybody by 5. 5 times 2 is 10 thirds. How many 3's going to 10? 3, 6, 9, that's 3. 9 to 10 is 1 left over out of 3. So 3 1/3 is going to be my answer there. All right, baking soda, 1 1/2. So it's a mixed number. I got to change it to an improper fraction. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. So my improper fraction is going to be 3 halves for my baking soda. Why don't I just do my, what's my next one? Ginger here. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5. So my ginger is going to be 5/4 for my improper fraction. So if I'm going to multiply each of these two, so I take 3 halves times my 5. Oop, that doesn't look right. Let me put this up here. 3 halves times 5. 3 times 5 is 15 over 2. How many 2's are going to go into 15? Well, 2 times 7 is 14. 14 to 15, there's 1 left over out of 2. So 7 1/2 is going to be my amount of baking soda. So I'm going to bring that down here. I think that's my next line. Okay. And then real quickly, let's just do the ground ginger here. So I've got 5/4 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25 over 4. How many 4 is going to 25? Well, 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 6 is 24. So that's 24 to 25. There's 1 left over. So that gets me 6 1/4 for my teaspoons of ground ginger. Okay. I think this should hopefully give you guys a little guidance that we're a little bit stuck on some of these. Again, I didn't go through doing them all, but hopefully you can watch the video. You can go back and look at your work again. And again, if you got any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me, okay? So tomorrow's activity is going to be dealing with recipes and making increments of your recipes just like you did for today. So it's going to be important that you understand what you're doing on this one. Alrighty, so I'm going to stop this off and send it out to you guys. Hope you have a good night. Bye.